Thanks for joining me for the first ever episode. Today we'll be talking a little bit about why it is that I decided to do a web series on this morning's Good Morning Commute. Okay, here we go. Now, first of all, my morning commute is about 20-25 minutes long, depending on traffic. But in general, we're looking at probably between 5 and 10 minute videos. The reason I decided I wanted to do this, it actually started about a year ago. I enjoy YouTube. I like the culture of YouTube. I like what it represents. One of the biggest inspirations for me to do a talk show style show is definitely Rhett and Link. So I just want to say thank you to them for the inspiration to do something like this. Also, I mean, I've been watching and enjoying YouTube for a long time. The Yogscast, which was really the first group of people I found on YouTube that I really enjoyed watching. It was just their humor and it was their commentary. And so I followed them, and that was probably 3 years ago or so. And they had just started out. And now, obviously, if you go and look at their content, and I'll put a link in the description below for all the folks that I mentioned here. Obviously, they are huge now. And actually, at the moment, I'm going to stop and get some Dunkin' Donuts here for breakfast. Like I was saying, it was the Yogscast stuff that got me interested in really YouTubers and commentary. Moving on from there, I found Chimney Swift 11 when he only had, I think, about 40,000 followers. So now he has well over 1 million, which is exciting for him. It was exciting to sort of go along for the journey, and I think that that's something that is very new and very unique to this type of content. And I think that there are people who would say, you know, that's kind of weird. You're purporting to sort of almost be friends with this person with whom you only have a one-way communication, right? And they talk about stuff and you sit there passively and listen. All you have to do is really kind of look at the numbers, right? Look at the results. You know, the Yogscast has 8 or 9, probably more, official members that are putting up content every day, and they're most of them all getting, you know, well over 100,000 hits, and that's impressive, right? There's a recipe for that. So all that being said, the goal of this show for me, what I want the show to be is content and commentary that's funny and interesting, right? And I want you as the viewer to sort of feel like you're on my morning drive with me. So, you know, if you're homesick or if you're in college or even high school, you know, you can take that moment during the day and just sort of virtually carpool with somebody. And I hope I'm interesting enough that that's something that you would want to do. So what's the show going to be like? It's if I want to talk about it, then we'll talk about it. Additionally, I love trivia, and I don't mean necessarily like bar trivia, pub trivia stuff. That stuff is fun, but what I really like is trivia in the sense of what the word means, and that is trivial. I like trivial information that's basically useless, but is really fascinating. An example of that would be the Jolly Roger, the flag, right? What we think of as the pirate flag, the skull and crossbones. We think of that as being almost mythical. Maybe it never existed. It did, in fact. It was not that often actually flown by pirates. Pirates had their own flags that were sort of akin to family crests and whatnot, and they would fly those flags. The Jolly Roger actually was flown last in the mid-2000s by the British, and they would fly it from their submarines when they were returning from either a successful battle or a successful training exercise. And it was decommissioned, not used since, And I think the reason is, or what the reason supposedly is just that it seems odd given now the cultural context of the Jolly Roger flag, to not really use that for actual military activity. So, that's an example. I think that's really interesting. It's not the most interesting thing that we'll talk about, certainly, but it's interesting. I also love language. I love linguistics. I love words and grammar. Some of the fun facts that we talk about will also be related to that. For example, a word I learned recently is a contronym, which is actually a word that is a type of word. And what a contronym is a word that can be its own antonym. So weather, for example, you can weather something, which means you survive it, or something can become weathered, which means that it's worn down or destroyed. So that's a contronym, right? Makes sense. Contra, against, nym, synonym, antonym. I don't need to tell you what that means. And to me that's fascinating. That's awesome. And so we'll have little things like that as well. When I was thinking about the show and the setting that I wanted for it, I thought about a lot of the blog type thing. They have not a huge amount of production value, but it's certainly more than I have the skill to produce at the moment, for them to be entertaining. Also, a lot of them aren't a single person. They are often, like Rhett and Link with Good Mythical Morning, they are two people, and that creates a dynamism that lends itself to being entertaining even though it's a static camera. So when I was thinking about what I want to do, I was thinking, well, what do I like to do, this and that. I love to drive. I love to talk to people while I'm driving. And so I thought that would be interesting to do. And I was also thinking, well, when do I have time to do this? Right? I actually have two jobs. I have a regular 9 to 5. The drive to which is when we record this. And then I have another, which is the food service industry. And it's just to make ends meet. It's to have a little bit of extra money. But that means that I am at work for 55, 60 hours a week, sometimes more. And so I was thinking, well, okay, when am I going to record this? And the idea was, well, I'm in the car. I have to get to work, right? That's an amount of time that I have to take. And so why not record something then? And also, I have to say, I love the way that these types of shots look. I don't know why. I always have. Any sort of reality show where they're putting a camera in a car and watching someone drive, I really enjoy it. And I think it's interesting. I think it's more dynamic than what you would get if I was sitting in front of a computer or a camera just in my apartment, or at some setting, or even investing in a green screen and doing something like that. So I hope that helps to make the content more engaging and make you guys want to come back again and again and watch more videos. I think it's important to say that this is the first video of a show about the show. Starting with the next video, we will actually delve into the content, and the show is going to be what it's going to be. There may also be some bonus content. I drive a lot for work, and so if I'm taking a drive for work, which actually I'm doing today, I may or may not videotape it. There may be somebody else in the car with me, which would be cool. I would like to do interviews in the future, sort of, even just with my friends or with my coworkers. The last thing I want to talk about, as we're getting ready to pull in and end this Good Morning Commute, is a little segment that I've been thinking about doing, and I want to call it, I think, silent lip syncing. And the idea for this came from the fact that YouTube, obviously, they have very strict licensing issues for music. So all the music that I'll be using in the show is going to be royalty free. Maybe a couple days a week, maybe just on Fridays, right? Because we're happy that it's Friday. We may do a silent sing-along or a silent lip sync in which I turn the radio on, and whatever song comes on, I'll lip sync it, but I'll cut the audio for you guys. And you can guess what song I might be lip syncing to. All right, well, I wanted to say thank you so much for checking out this first video. I hope you enjoyed. That being said, if you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate if you'd give the video a like or a comment down below, maybe favorite and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more. And that'll do it for today's Good Morning Commute. I will see you next time.